Hello, Virgo, and welcome to Cosmic Brew Tarot. I'm Oscar. This is my cat, Max. Yeah, he's joining us for the reading. And this is going to be a reading for the new moon in Scorpio. New moons are a great time for us to set intentions for a new cycle in our life. Following the lunar cycle gives us 30 days right, to go into something new so that we can unstagnate ourselves and to help move situations and feelings and thoughts along in our lives so that we can keep evolving and growing. The new moon in Scorpio is energy of transformation, of emotional upheaval, of looking at toxic things in our lives and finding ways to cleanse ourselves of them, of recognizing toxic patterns within ourselves and finding ways to make peace with them. You know, I look at shadow work sometimes as approaching the monster in a cave and extending a hand out, right? And growing a level of trust and care and acceptance. And then by the end of everything, you know, they end up becoming like a bouncy, fun, but ferocious pet at your side. And I think we all want to reach that place where we can feel empowered enough to show, don't mess with me, right? Because I've got everything in balance. I've got my shadow, you know, whatever the shadow creature looks like, a bear, a big spider, a dragon, a kraken, whatever. My creature is happy and great, but you know, you mess with me, you mess with them, and then they're gonna come for you. You know what I mean? Like that's it's a great energy to be in. So I'm doing a custom spread for the new moon in Scorpio to help facilitate your journey towards positive change and a healthier, more vibrant, positive you. So with this, this is a custom spread. I'm going to be asking, what is the mask I'm wearing? Sorry, I think my camera moved a little bit. Okay. What's the mask I'm wearing? What shadows have I ignored and repressed? Where have I been exerting too much control? What can I do to shed these old patterns? What's my intuition telling me? And how can I do the highest good for myself and others? I'm going to be using a combination of the Spellcasting Oracle with the Killstar Tarot deck. It's my most macabre deck. I felt it was very appropriate for a new moon in Scorpio reading. And actually, the box has this saying on it that I think is very appropriate, and it is that death is only the beginning. I took the death card out. This is the Scorpio power card, and I'm putting that in the center of the reading to help us look at the things that need to go in your life. And then at the very end, I'm going to be pulling a card from the Cosmic Journey Oracle to help guide and direct this shadow work into a positive direction, in a positive space and a positive perspective, so that we can bring about positive change. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start shuffling. My disclaimer, as always, is this wants to just come out, so I'm going to set that aside. Disclaimer is we are in a collective Virgo energy right now, which means that not everything is necessarily going to resonate for you. And this is your time to practice your intuition and discernment, to decipher and decode the messages and downloads that you'll be getting from this reading in a way that services you. Leave what does not service you, leave what is not relevant to you for another Virgo who it might resonate for instead. Similarly, if these are messages about cycles that you have closed out in your past and has nothing to do with your present, you might be being asked to reflect. This came out. You might be being asked to reflect on those to better direct your next cycle. Or you might be being asked to think about a situation that hasn't happened to you yet so that you can be better prepared for it in the future. I think that we're looking right now at, we're trying to look at present energies that might be lingering around in your subconscious that need to be examined and looked at. So while I was shuffling, I got two cards, one from the Oracle deck, which is Empowerment, and one from my tarot deck, which is the Page of Wands in reverse. So there's an energy here overall of it's like there's scattered energy, but then there's it's like I know what I'm worth and I know what I deserve and I'm capable of getting it, but the energy is it's scattered and diluted. It's almost like there's a strong core, but then the rest feels so malleable and like unshaped. It's like you want to make things happen for yourself that honor that core, valuable, empowered person inside, but for some reason you're not able to. It's not stuck energy as much as it is like scattered and confused and misdirected. Misdirection was a word that I was kind of getting a lot of, like misdirected energy. Something isn't quite operating the way that I think that you need it to. So with that in mind, let's get started. What is the mask that Virgo is wearing? Talent. I think Aries also got talent as their mask. So if you have Aries in your chart in a significant place, you might want to check out their reading. There's similar masks here. And the Two of Cups in reverse. Okay. Two of Cups upright is about partnerships, right? And harmonious. It's about harmonious partnerships. It doesn't necessarily mean love. It could be business. It could be, a business partnership. It could be family. It could be anything. But the point is that we're talking about two people who are sharing cups with each other and are in a flow state. In reverse, that's the opposite. It's two people that are not in that flow state. This could also be talking about self-love and self-care, that's out of balance as well, that you need to be focusing on that. The mask I'm seeing here with talent is that you might feel like you're perfectly capable of taking care of yourself. We were talking earlier about empowerment. And so this mask is trying to show that I don't need anybody to show up in the world. And that's not a bad philosophy to have. But it feels a little isolationist. Or it's like it's very independent, strong energy. If we're talking about it in the sense of a mask, you know, it's almost kind of like overcompensating for some of the turbulence that's occurring in your life. It's like, I don't, I might have some people in my life that are bothering me, that are causing me problems, but I'm not really paying them any mind right now because I have to show up in a situation without that on my mind. I have to take each situation as it comes. And I think that might be a source of some of this misdirected energy that we were talking about with this Page of Wands in reverse. This, you're not able to focus on making certain relationships better, because in many ways what you're doing is you're actually setting relationships that are not going well for you to the side and just doing your own thing elsewhere. But the more relationships that you keep kind of setting off to the side, the more that it does put you in that place of just me. And you're trying to show that, like, I like it this way. I'm fine. I don't need to be around anybody that doesn't appreciate what I bring to the table. But I think like that kind of thinking, especially if it's triggered very early, right? Like as soon as someone disappoints you, as soon as there's any sense of like, oops, like, sorry, I made a mistake. Sorry, I misunderstood. Sorry, this fell through. Sorry, I disappointed you. Sorry, this and sorry, that. If you distance yourself too quickly from it, there's no chance of things getting better. But if you're trying to project this facade of, I don't care if things don't get better, because at the end of the day, I didn't do anything wrong, right? It's like, it's up to you to fix this. But the more that you keep kind of passing the buck of it's up to you to fix it, the more disappointment you have when people don't really pick up that message that it's up to them to fix it. Because even if they did try to fix it, are you giving them the opportunity to? I'm getting so much from this. Let's keep moving. What shadows has Virgo ignored or repressed? Compassion. What were we just talking about? You're repressing your compassion. You're ignoring it. Seven of Pentagrams wants to come out in reverse, but because it was, let's see, Two of Wands in reverse. So we've got 2 2s right off the bat. your shadow, the shadow that you're ignoring and repressing, is the one that would have to undergo a crossroad moment. You know, two of wands is upright, would be a crossroads, and planning, like trying to look at like which situation is the better way for me to move. And in reverse with compassion, instead the energy that I'm getting here is like you're road blocking compassion from coming out. For some reason, compassion is in your shadow. Something has been when we put things in our shadow, it's usually because something happened in our lives where we exhibited something about ourselves. So typically, right, we would say like when we exhibit rage, and then the response from people is anger and shame and guilt, we see that rage, when we let it out, produces so much more negative feedback than it's actually worth to just let out and vent, right? And so then our rage can go into the shadow, because instead of expressing it, we decide that it's bad, so we're going to go ahead and just off to the side, out here, into the cave, into the dark cave. But this can also happen with positive emotions as well. So feeling, for example, in this case, compassion, maybe we're feeling like compassion, we've shown compassion before, and it didn't work out. It wasn't honored. It wasn't taken the way that you wished it would. It's like, how many chances do you need to give someone before you're finally up and done with it? And I think you're kind of at this place right now where it's like, I don't want to give a second chance to anyone. Or, I'm seeing twos. It's like, I didn't just give one chance, I gave 2 chances. I don't give a third chance. Like, that's the extent of your compassion. Like, and by creating kind of like that hard rule, someone who maybe didn't get it the first 2 times but gets it now no longer has an opportunity to walk through the door. Interesting that I'm hearing it that way. To walk through the door and show that, hey, I understand what I did. I'm sorry. I know that I've repeated this problem, but I've had time to think about it. I've had time to reflect. But if you don't give them that opportunity, then they won't have that opportunity at all, obviously. So when we push compassion, when we think of compassion as a bad thing for ourselves to give, because instead it just complicates our lives, we might, you might feel that showing too much compassion in the past has disempowered you. And so you find empowerment by being like, no more chances. And you know what? I mean, I get that energy. I really do. I get that energy, because how many chances do you give? But again, this comes down to using your discernment. Where do you need to place your compassion? Who deserves a third chance? Do your parents deserve a third chance? Does your lover deserve a third chance? Does your coworker, your boss, your underling, does your child deserve a third chance. I feel like you're being asked to look at your compassion. I feel like your compassion has been wounded at this point, you know? And if you leave your compassion to just die in the darkness, what are you going to be left with? Is that something that you're willing to let die like that? Are you willing to leave it wounded that way? Or are we going to try and reconcile something within us? All right, let's keep going. Where has Virgo been exerting too much control? This just wants to come out, so let's do it. Life purpose. Oh, lots of cards throwing themselves out here. Hold on. Let's do that again. Life purpose. The Hanged Man. And interesting, you know, Hangman is the 12th card. So 10. 10s are end of a cycle. And then 2, which we've been talking about. So 2, 2, 2 could be significant. Where you've been exerting too much control. You know, it's also interesting too. Life purpose, this card. So the Hangman is someone who hangs upside down and sees the world from a different perspective. And then here, the life purpose card is a reflection. You know, it's like what is as above, so below. Like it, no matter how you look at it, you're still basically getting the same thing, but just one is a reflection and one is the actual. Where you've been exerting too much control is in waiting around you're exerting control by waiting instead of acting. Are you telling yourself that your life purpose is it is what it is? That what you're okay, I'm getting this is what it is. It doesn't really matter how I look at it. And therefore, all I can do is just wait around for someone to prove me wrong. And for something to open up here. My life purpose is what's in front of me and nothing else. There is no growth that I have to do. It's like waiting for other things to grow on your tree. It's a lot of reverse energy. I mean, all of your cards are in reverse, minus so far. minus the Hanged Man, who in and of itself is a reversed card. It's like you're seeing the Hangman is enlightened by being hung upside down because they're looking at things from a new perspective. But the problem is that right now the perspective that you're seeing, even if you're hanging upside down and looking at it from a new perspective, is there is no new perspective. The perspective just looks a little cloudier, right? A little more distorted than what it actually is. Like, the more that I look into it, the more that I don't actually see anything of value. And I have to just kind of sit with it. I think you're trying not to get excited about anything. The control comes from a resignment of disappointing energy. You're not able to really dream big right now. You're just kind of looking at things as they are, and that's why your energy is probably kind of scattered, because it's not really looking outside at something bigger. Okay. What can Virgo do to shed these old patterns? Here we go. Animals. So when I get the animals card, I think of things like pack mentality. I think of things like survival. I think, let's see, what do we got? The star. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Here's what I'm getting. Animals are, from birth, they have a understanding of the world and their place in it and how to operate in it, right? And they survive and thrive, right, by being one with their environment, that because they wouldn't have been born in an environment that is not suited for them, right? Even if it's a harsh environment. And with the star, it is a card of faith, hope, healing. To shed your old patterns, to shed this stuck energy that you're feeling, right? This disappointment. It is what it is. So when I come back to this, right, when I said, it is what it is and I can't really see outside of it, right? When I look at it from a different angle and perspective, it's just cloudier, right? So I don't even want to look at it that way at all. I'd rather look at things right side up. Now, I think you're being asked to stop questioning. Stop questioning what you should be doing, and instead trying to find your little bit of paradise in this situation. Finding your oasis in all of this. And I mean, this life purpose, I mean, this tree is gorgeous. If you were to just sit back and appreciate that you have this bounty you can make something work with that. You're being asked to work with the energies rather than cut them off. Even if they're difficult energies, even if they're energies that you don't particularly have faith in, you can take "it is what it is" from a more positive glass half full versus a more negative glass is half empty perspective. And that little change alone can make such a big difference. Because instead of being held back by your feelings, you're instead being pushed forward by your feelings, onward and upward, right? It's kind of a suck it up buttercup energy, and do what you need to do to heal and survive and thrive, right? Like, there's more to life than whatever this is. What is Virgo's intuition telling them at this time? Inspiration. Yeah. Inspiration. I mean, this is going back to Page of Wands in reverse. Upright, this is a card of inspiration. So I do feel like your intuition is telling you. Okay, Page of Cups in reverse. There might be something, I'm getting like inner child, I'm getting like this daydreamy kind of energy. I almost feel like I think your intuition is telling you to follow find your inspiration in something that you currently consider frivolous, that maybe you don't allow yourself to do, even though you would really want to. You've always been inspired to do something, but maybe it's like, well, I don't have the time. That's kids stuff. That is, it's beneath me, or I'm, I don't have the time for this. Instead, listen to your intuition and follow an inspiration, right? And give yourself that time to be like, oh, you know what? I have an hour to kill, instead of scrolling through my phone or, whatever, stressing about work. I could maybe spend this hour doing something that fulfills me. You're already in a misdirected energy flow right now that you don't really know where to go. So why not do something more outside of your box and go with something that can bring you some joy that you're not allowing yourself to experience because you feel like that was something that is out of reach or in the past, or maybe like, oh well, I don't really have the aptitude to paint, so I'm not even going to start trying to paint, even if something inside of you is telling you, why don't you try painting? Do a paint by numbers. Start small. Finger paint. Like, you're not trying to put out fine art. You're just trying to express yourself. and as an example, metaphor, etc., right? You might find that to be very healing. And I feel like that alone can get your mind working in ways that you're not used to working, or to express it in ways. You might find a way to express your compassion through art, or through, I'm getting like making a care package. Something that you feel inspired to do and to give, right? I think there's a way for you to kind of come around and give an opportunity of, I'm extending an olive branch through an indirect way, like I'm gifting you this mug, for example, just to let you know that I do care. I just don't know how to give more to you right now, but this is what I was inspired to do for you. And maybe we can talk if this mattered to you, that I did this. How can Virgo do the highest good for themselves and others? Love. Yeah. Let's get a tarot card for that. The Hierophant in reverse. So the Hierophant in reverse is about rebelliousness and out of the box ways of doing things, radical ways of doing things. This message is clear to me. Radical love. How can you do the highest good for yourself and others? Radical love. Love regardless. I mean, look at all this energy that you had before, this feeling of just disharmony, of scattered energy, of, well, I'm good, and if people can't keep up, then they're just not meant for me. But then creating what that does is it keeps pushing compassion and love into your shadow. And when you do that, you're depriving yourself of the good that compassion and love can bring. You need to show yourself some radical love by doing something silly like what we were just talking about. You need to heal. And you want to heal some other relationships too, I think. And I think the best way to do that is to show a different side of yourself that you haven't been showing before. Show what your love is capable of. You can chalk up this period of your life, this energy that we were talking about earlier, to tough love, to this is just, I've taken a lot of time to process this, to accept it, to understand it, to grow from it. And I'm back. I'm back in a bigger, bolder, more powerful way. However, I hope you understand that I don't give this as freely as I'd like to. I don't give radical love as freely as I'd like to. So I really, really hope that you understand like what a big deal this is for me. And if you try to uphold radical love for everyone, this could be a way for you. Again, this is about your highest good. Maybe there is a way for you to start expressing it better. And I think it starts with expressing it towards the people that you need to express it to first. Not just willy-nilly new strangers that enter your life that show more promise than the people that came before. But what about the people that you've shunned? Are you going to keep shunning them, or are you going to welcome them back? And I'm not saying welcome back everybody, right? Some people are not deserving of your love and your energy. And I think that you're discerning enough to know what that is and who those people are. But I think you can't cut everyone with the same sword. All right, let's draw a card from the Cosmic Journey Oracle. Let's see, where do we want to guide Virgo on this journey towards radical love? Honestly, I think that's just a great way to... such a great answer to like this stuckness, this problem, this scattered energy, like shit, I'm so great, I'm so good, and like what is it exactly that the universe even expects of me right now? Because I can't possibly be any better. I can't possibly keep giving more and more of myself because I keep coming away with more confusion and more hurt and more I feel like I'm not even respecting myself. So sometimes compassion and all that goes out the window because it's like, no. It's like, well, I mean, we can choose to live a life of radical love and following our inspiration. But we have to also be aware that sometimes, yeah, there are costs to radical love. There are consequences. There's consequences to radical love in the same way that there's consequences to conserving those feelings, right? And so it's what sits better with you. What do you need to direct? And who are you directing what energy towards? Oh, wow. This is wild. This is card 22. So we were talking about 2 and 2s over here. So 22. Say yes to your open door. I'm going to read the entry here. All right. By saying yes, you allow the flow of life. And even better, saying yes is more fun than regretting on what you've missed out on. Oh my God. What could unfold if you met life with a positive and resounding yes each time you were given the invitation to move forward? Life wants to meet you, but as we're in a free will dimension, you must take action first. Find the yes in the situation that you're faced with now. Your yes signals to the universe to continue opening more doors to what's next for you. Yes to life. Oh, wow. Yes to life. Yes to love. Yes to your greatest destiny perfectly unfolding. So now so there's a cosmic catalyst. So it's like a journaling prompt, but it could also just be something for you to think about What is my next open door awaiting my yes? And there's a cosmic checkbox, so this is an action that you can take to help manifest this feeling, right, into your 3D space. Write yes 11 days forward in your journal or calendar. On that day, say yes to every invitation that comes your way, especially if it's something you would normally say no to. Ooh. Yeah, you're being asked to open up, Virgo. I know it can be hard, but I feel like it's harder being stuck and not really having the same joy and lust for life that this other half of the reading is trying to bring forward for you. So I hope that you take this time to really sit with that, of how to create more open and free love so that you can also attract it back. All right. Well, Virgo, thank you for this wonderful reading. I mean, it really gave me a lot to think about. And this is a really, really great message. So I hope it resonated. If it did, like, share, subscribe, comment. Definitely let me know how this reading went. And until next time, thank you for being a part of this wonderful Cosmic Brew. Take care.